Xavier Worthy in concussion protocol. Isaiah likely out with foot surgery, a fracture, and both unfortunate, but not necessarily, impacting the season greatly. Obviously, Worthy, there's no impact to the season, but now we're worried about, is he going to be a concussion concern? Because once you have a concussion, you worry about the next one. But this is one. Not worried about Worthy. Not really worried about Isaiah Likely from a long-term perspective. The injury, the missed time, could be back in early September, could package in the risk that makes him a zero cost of entry player. So two negatives. We'll talk about, what way to look at this thing. And then we've got the release of Zach Moss, which just ensures that not only is Taj Brooks the backup in that Cincinnati Bengal running room, but that Chase Brown's going to the moon. Not that any of us were concerned about Zach Moss, but it was often referred. Moss was referred to as, well, what about Moss? What if he ends up getting more work? So we'll break this down. Worthy with the concussion, Likely with the fracture, and Chase Brown with the shuttle pass to the moon. The Fantasy Football Show begins now.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
So as you can see, the report right here, Xavier Worthy, who left yesterday's practice banging his head, is in the NFL concussion protocol per Andy Reid. Not a crazy concern. Concussions, people that don't know about concussions, they think they're never a big deal. You do need to reference them. I'll play this for you.
A concussion is a type of traumatic brain injury, TBI, caused by a blow, bump, or jolt to the head or body that causes the brain to move rapidly back and forth within the skull. This sudden movement can disrupt normal brain function, leading to a variety of physical, cognitive, and emotional symptoms. Grades range from 1 to 3, 3 being most severe. Antonio Brown's 2016 concussion, delivered by Vontaze Burfict, was a grade 3 and thought to be one of the worst concussions in NFL history.
Concussions are definitely a concern. When you get one, you're more susceptible to the next one, but it isn't something you run away from on the first sight. We're not, I just want to address it because it's not like somebody could say, oh, it's nothing. It is something, but I'm not worried about a young kid like Xavier Worthy. Somebody says I have Hollywood Brown in the title. Oh, my fault. Let me change that. I don't know what, a little early in the morning for your boy Smitty at 9 a.m. So sometimes I'm not as, let me see, Hollywood Brown. Jeez. Let me change that real quickly. But yeah, Xavier Worthy, there we go, fixed. Thank you. Appreciate you telling me that. Xavier Worthy is a player that is, going to have a really fantastic season. He came on strong in 2024 as a rookie, didn't quite do what he was supposed to do all season long, but put it all together. The NFL clicked for him just like MHJ. MHJ, Xavier Worthy, a handful of players in the NFL last year specifically, and in the case of even Trey Benson, and this might have to do with the way Arizona coaches up their players, let's be honest. Benson, the NFL didn't click until later, until midseason. MHJ, the NFL didn't click until midseason. There I go again. Xavier Worthy, the NFL didn't click until mid-season or a little bit after. This guy was the number 2 wide receiver in the league. If you take his last 5 games played, his 3 playoff games, and one of which, the first of the 3 playoff games, he didn't even do anything. He had like a 40 or 50 yard game. It was like a 7-point game, maybe fantasy wise. But if you include that, don't cherry pick. You include his total 3 playoff games. You include his last 2 regular season games. You divide that by 5 and then extrapolate it across the season. He's wide receiver 2 if you use that point total. So Worthy was a monster at the end of the season. And he got into his zone, and when people say things like Worthy wasn't a consistent player, they're looking at the grand scope of a rookie season. They're not looking at how he was playing to finish the year, the momentum he carries over. So this is a top. I would not say take that data and make it gospel and put him as a wide receiver 2. I'm just saying that this is a top 12 potential wide receiver. Now, you mix back in that Rashee Rice is now the man again. You mix in there is a potential 2 to 4 game suspension, and there is a chance he gets a 0 game suspension despite what people want to pretend. At the end of the day, this is not something that is it has to be this or has to be that. He can still be top 14, top 15 wide receiver. There could still be 2 top 10 wide receivers produced by Patrick Mahomes. If T-Law, and this is a misnomer as well, a misconception, that T-Law can't produce 2 top 10 wide receivers unless he's a top 4 or 5 quarterback. That's not the case either. T-Law could be QB 8 and produce 2 top 10 wide receivers. And if he can do it, what do you think Mahomes can do? Mahomes has been a top 4 fantasy quarterback more than he has not been inside the top 4 fantasy football quarterbacks. Despite the narrative people paint about this guy, Patrick Mahomes, 1, 3, 4, 1. I don't care about these 2 years. This year right here, 10, is an outlier because it probably would have been a rebound year like this number 3 off of that bad year. In bad year, he's top 10 every single year. So I'm not worried about Mahomes in the slightest. And Mahomes is certainly capable of producing a stat line that can feed 2 top 10 wide receivers. So do I think that he's top 10? I think you put him 12, 13. You could make him the number 1 wide receiver in the wide receiver 2 group, or you could put him at the tail end of the 11, 12 territory of wide receivers if you want, and I'm fine with that. Rice lives above that in my mind. And whether Rice gets a 2 game suspension, a 0 game, a 4 game, he's still going to live there from a point per game perspective for me. Rice is a top 5 to 7 wide receiver, and Worthy's a top 12 to 14. I think it's safest to put him at 13 or 14. If you're going to try and rank him the highest you want, I would put him at 13 or 14. So your expectation level is that he can be the wide receiver 2, number 1 overall wide receiver 2 in fantasy football. That's the ability he has to grab that spot. As far as the Isaiah Likely, so not worried about this. Again, concussions are a complicated topic. They always need to be discussed a little bit more seriously than people think. When somebody says something like it's one, don't worry about it, you can't look at it like that. But if someone says, oh, he had one, now he's going to be the next Chris Olave, who's had 4 NFL concussions, you can't think that way either. But concussions are always a concern. Some players get concussions a lot easier than others. And actually, let's check with Kruger real quick. Kruger, does Xavier Worthy, the wide receiver, the sophomore wide receiver for the Chiefs, does he have a concussion history in college?
Xavier Worthy didn't have a history of concussions during his college career at Texas. The only notable injuries he had were a finger fracture in 2022 and an ankle sprain in 2023. He did, though, just recently end up in concussion protocol during training camp. So that's the latest on him.
Thank you, Kruger. You are a hero. You are our hero.
You are too kind, Smitty. I love being able to help out. If there's anything else you need,
do it live. Apparently he doesn't want to respond to that, but Kruger letting us know, and I can't guarantee Kruger's accuracy, but it does sound correct. Man, a finger and an ankle, this guy's a pretty healthy guy. So my guess, based on having no history in college, with injury really at all, no injury history really at all, it's a pretty healthy kid. I'm not really worried about this. I'm going to go ahead and Smitty stamp approve, even though we need to have the conversation. I'm going to Smitty approve that I'm not worried about this concussion, and especially this has nothing to do with week 1. It's just more about, is he somebody we watch for concussions? No.
You've just been Smitty approved.
All right, as for the next piece of news that we must discuss, and it's not one that I'm real happy about because this is one of my breakouts. We took him off the Moon Man list the other day just to squeeze more room. We have 2 tight ends on it already, so We did take him off, and I'm probably leaving him off, but he could be a midseason monster now because he's going to miss part of the beginning of the year. Could it be 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks? But it doesn't sound like he's going to miss more than the beginning of the season. So because we got 2 tight ends already on this list, not that we have to limit the position, but Ingram and Arroyo are 2 Moonmen, and Arroyo kind of took Likely's place. This is a tough break, no pun intended, according to this report and many other reports. Isaiah Likely, who had a foot injury yesterday and left practice, he had immediate surgery stabilizing the fracture in his foot after being carted off the field Tuesday at the end of practice. Baltimore's 4th-year tight end will miss training camp. Both sides are optimistic Likely could return in early September. So keep in mind, week 1 is not out of the question. But this news will most likely lower his value so much that he becomes almost a free cost of entry player. And therefore, as a tight end 3 in best ball, instead of a tight end 2, you now get to grab this guy as your if you grab 2 bye week, equal players and they're both monsters, now you can grab him as your solution to that bye week in week 8 or week 10 or whatever. This could be your 3rd tight end option in best ball underdog, promo code Smitty, where we draft on Underdog pretty much every single night at midnight Eastern. So make sure you click this link. I'm going to drop it right now in the live chat. The code Smitty will also do the same thing, effectively putting in my code will get you a 50% match on your first deposit all the way up to $1,000, but the minimum is only $10. So join a draft. I just dropped the link right now. I'll pin the link in the live chat. If you want to draft with us tonight, tomorrow night, the next night, click the link now. Sign up now. Don't wait. And then, or at least bookmark the link. But you click the link, sign up. It takes 1 to 2 minutes. You'll be ready to go. You won't miss out on that deposit match, and we can draft. But he'll be probably falling pretty far because people worry about this stuff, as they should. But I'm not particularly worried about what this is going to do for his value or how much risk gets added, because he's pretty much almost a free player. He's a double-digit round tight end, which I believe now he could go in the 17, 16. I don't know how far he'll fall, but I love Isaiah Likely. I still think he's a very, very solid option this year. This guy, Chase Brown's going to the moon. Oh wait, no, he's already on the moon. Wait, he's not on the moon. He's in Saturn's orbit, according to our recent diagnostic space time continuum algorithmic equation meter. It shows that this man, Chase Brown, because where did I put that piece of news? Let me see if I can drag it back on the screen. Chase Brown, we have Zach Moss being released. Here we go. And while I'm not, this doesn't do anything for me. This doesn't tickle my fancy at all, because I sometimes I forget Zach Moss is even in the league, let alone a threat of any sort for some people. But this will trigger the average Joe. Unfortunately, this is probably more bad news than good news, even though everybody wants to be like, okay, for my current shares of Chase Brown, makes me feel a little more warm and fuzzy, even though it shouldn't. He's not a threat. If anything, Taj Brooks is better, and having Moss out of the way puts a better running back in secondary position quicker, if you wanted me to be completely honest. But having Taj Brooks now is the secure handcuff, and that's nice to know what the pecking order is exactly, so that you can cuff this the way you need to cuff it. But a lot of people have been worried about Zach Moss, talking about Zach Moss. And what about Zach Moss? Zach Moss is nothing. And while I wish him well, and I hope he finds a job and gets healthy and everything is good, the Chase Brown movement has never been more secure. He's a three-round territory phenom. If this news triggers the average Adam and the nervous Ned and the worried William, the holding back Henry, to go get now Chase Brown, we might see Brown climb into the 2-3 turn, which I'm not saying he's not deserving of and that I won't dabble, but that certainly pulls him out of the automatic zone. You see Chase Brown to 3.9, boom, boom, boom. I mean, I love Kyron Hall Brown. I'm rotating that anyway, But if Brown does climb to the 2-3 turn and sometimes frequents the 2.12 and the 2.11 and 2.10 and 2.9 draft slots, it's going to suck. So hopefully the holding back Henry doesn't look at this and be like, oh, I guess I should draft him now. So not necessarily the best news, to be quite frank. I just think that Moss muddied the water up enough that, I don't know, it held some of those nervous Neds back, but we'll see. And if it doesn't do anything, then it's just ends up being a good thing because, you know, the pecking order. The Madden ratings came out, and the rookies are pretty upset. Travis Hunter, 84. Whoever does the Madden rating should be probably fired. Travis Hunter, 84. That's ridiculous. Genty, 83. Genty should be a 99. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, Travis Hunter should be like a 92. If they want to hold back, that's fine. You give him a 90. Give him a 90. Just give him a 90. Give him a 9. You want to hold him back and say, prove it to us? I'm okay with that. But the guy plays both sides of the foot. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? How is Travis Hunter 84? I know he's the highest rated, 84. I mean, and we, you know, we love, where's Cam Scatterboo? I think Cam Scatterboo is higher than, I mean, look, where's Hampton and Hendy? It's just ridiculous, man. Absolutely ridiculous looking at this thing. Whoever runs the Madden ratings is literally inept. Travis Hunter, 84. Genty, 83. Genty should be 95 if you're conservative. Caleb, and you don't have any sort of, you know, cojones. And Hunter should be 90 just if you're a scared Scotty, you know, running, you know, worried about your job over there at Madden. I don't understand. It's ridiculous. These guys no one takes it seriously anymore. And at this point, it's getting embarrassing when you look at that stuff. Just absolutely embarrassing. Not having Genty in the 90s is one of the dumbest Madden ratings I've ever seen. Let's open the phone lines to discuss Xavier Worthy. To discuss Brown. To discuss Likely. To discuss anything else you want to discuss. And then we'll be back for another show. Dial in.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
All right, dial in. Yeah, I don't know how that Hollywood Brown thing got through. I don't know what I was thinking. I haven't done that much this offseason, actually. I've been really, really attentive to those details. But somehow I botched that whole graphic and title at the same time. What's up, Bruce? You're live.
Hey, Smitty, what's going on?
What's up, my boy?
I have a question. How do you think this affects Patrick Mahomes if Rice might be, not that he is, might be suspended and Worthy with a concussion? It depends on how long.
Well, yeah, Worthy's not going to be out long at all, so I don't think Worthy affects anything. But I think that, you know, it went from Mahomes probably bouncing back and having one of those 3 or 4 quarterback seasons, similar to, as I said right here, where you're looking at Mahomes in this, where's my Mahomes board? When you're looking at Mahomes having a number 8 season, then he rebounds with a 3. So when he had a 7, he was probably going to rebound with a 3 or 4 season. And then losing Hollywood, losing Rashee Rice, you know, Kelsey not being in the best of shape, and he is this year. Those are all things that factored in. He just didn't have the weapons, so they had to morph the offense into something different. And they did it successfully. And kind of shocking to me when people don't give the Chiefs credit for what they did last year. You know, for Mahomes to do that, it's like people just be like, he's a good NFL quarterback, and they don't even feel like he's a great fantasy quarterback anymore or capable of it. It's just ridiculous. I think it's absolutely asinine. Just completely stupid.
Okay, yeah, because I didn't know if you thought this would, what he's like 7-8 in the ADP. I didn't know if you thought he would drop. Because, you know, I've had concussions, and I've had them linger for weeks, you know, so I didn't know, if you thought that it would linger that long for him or not. Worthy.
No, there's nothing that's going to linger unless there's something like in the case of a player like when Antonio Brown got hit that one time. That concussion was one where it's like, holy crap, we don't know what this means. What's the likelihood that this is going to affect his career? Like, this is not that. He's in concussion protocol. There's nothing here. But the only thing I tried to do at the beginning was just say that when concussions happen, it is something you need to look at, just to see if the player had a history. Is this something we could see end up being an issue later? But he has had no injury history at all in college. He's been a very healthy player. So there's nothing to see here. And it's not going to affect anything. We're talking about, days of this thing. That's it. Just an impact of days. That's nothing. If it was like 2 weeks, but he'll be fine. Plus, he can still do work and stuff. It's not like he can't do anything for like a week. He just can't take hits at some point. But a lot of guys aren't taking hits anyway. It's just hard to say. But it's not a big deal. Nothing to be concerned about.
And one more. Do you think likely? Do you think eventually, when he heals up, he'll be able to, it's either going to be a 50-50 with Andrews or he'll take over his spot?
It's hard to say.
Or no?
It's hard to say what this does to set that back. I certainly think likely is a really strong, absolutely strong, league-winning player. 100%. But this does set that back, or the likelihood of the likelihood of a likely rise is a little bit more in question, but that's all. It's nothing you can't. He's definitely going to be a player that you still target. You just need to target later.
Okay, that's all. All right, Smitty.
All right, Bruce. Appreciate you.
I'll talk to you later.
Later.
Yep.
All right. Let me go over the next caller. Let's see here. 415. You're live. What's your name?
Going on, Smitty? It's Rax Poker.
What's up, Rax? We haven't seen you in a long time. Rax Poker.
I know that I moved out the country. My time zone is completely different from yours, so it's hard to catch a lot.
Oh, it's good to see you here, bro. Rax Poker. I remember you came in one night. You were dropping gifted memberships or something one night, and then you're dropping racks.
Yeah, I used to be pretty active, but it's been hard to catch a live lately.
Yeah, well,
life.
We need you back in the saddle, pal. All right, what can I do for you? You're live.
I'm in a bit of a predicament here. I'm doing my annual keeper league here, one keeper. I got two choices. Either I could keep Brian Thomas Jr. in round 8, or I could just go ahead and keep my guy Bijan Robinson in round 1. I believe Bijan's going to be the number 1 fantasy football player this year. That's my opinion. I'd take him number 1 overall.
Yeah,
I really don't want to lose him to these guys. And if I get like the 12th slot, you know what I mean? Bijan could be my 12th. It could be the 12th pick off the board in round 1. But I know I should probably pick up Brian Thomas in round 8, where I could just, maybe hopefully get a Genty coming in towards the end of the round. But what do you think?
Yeah, I know this can feel confusing because you're torn, and Bijan's my 1 as well. But you got to think of it from the perspective of, even if it's the 12, let's look at it from the worst case scenario. If you're getting BTJ and the number 12 overall in a trade, 1.12 and BTJ in a trade for Bijan, you're taking that. Because who's this 1.1? If you had to guess, who are the 3 or 4 players you'd be able to get there? Is Genty one of them? If it's not Genty because they're running back hungry, give me the names of the players you think will be potentially available at 1.12. And it might not even.
Well, obviously Chase gets kept every year, so he's obviously not going to be there. I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs, maybe Jahmyr Gibbs is the guy.
Give me someone lower, Bucky. Give me someone lower. Don't go shoot high.
But Bucky for sure.
Okay,
I think.
so
Bucky
my
for
question is, are you really going to pass on Bucky and BTJ for Bijan in a trade offer? No. So you keeping Bijan is a kick to the sack. Like, why would you? You can't.
I know.
You can't even consider it. It's not even a consideration. Your worst case scenario is Bucky and BTJ by keeping BTJ in round, would you say, 8?
Yeah, round 8.
If you throw BT back, you get just Bijan.
Yeah.
There's nothing to consider. And what if you get the 1 pick, bro? What if you get the 1 pick?
Yeah, I'm hoping I can get the 1. We know before we get our keeper. So if I got the 1, obviously I get BTJ, and I
you got Bijan. Right, you could get Bijan and BTJ. But bro, it doesn't matter if you get the 12 pick. You cannot. Who cares? You got to throw Bijan back. You're getting Bucky. You're getting.
I was hoping you wouldn't say
that. Why would I not? Why would I not though? If you're getting Bucky in the 12 pick, the 1.12, or you're getting someone equivalent, you can't even consider this. I know people try and like look at it different, but you can't. You got to look at it objectively. This is a lambasting. You're literally kicking yourself in the nutsack 2 or 3 times by not throwing Bijan back in. Unless I'm missing something that you're not explaining, but it's the easiest call you could make.
No, maybe I know Chase is obviously going to get kept. Maybe Jahmyr Gibbs, he got picked in the second last round, so maybe he does keep Jahmyr Gibbs too, obviously, because they got him in the second last year. CeeDee Lamb will be there because actually my buddy already said he's keeping Chase Brown because he had him in the 5th last year.
Bro, Lamb could be the number 1.
He's going to be there.
Even though you and I both agree Bijan's R1, Lamb could be the number 1. And you're getting BTJ. Yeah. There's nothing to consider here. Considering the alternative is obliviously not looking at the facts. So you gotta throw him back. It sucks.
I gotta do it. Oh, okay. All right. I'm hoping if obviously someone just snakes Bijan from me. I've had Bijan since he was a rookie. I've gotten lucky for like the last 2 or 3 years or whatever it's been. But hopefully maybe a Genty or a Bucky could call me in the first and I could grab them. I'd be content with that.
Hell yeah. All right, man. Appreciate it. Rax, call him more often. We need you. Later.
All right,
later, bro. Later. 859, you're live. What's your name and where are you calling from, 859?
Team Snap, Smitty, man. Second year running with you, bro.
Attaboy. Appreciate you.
Okay, I got a question, man. I'm in a 20-man Eliminator $40 league. I'm pick 16. I'm about to come up on my pick. I think I'm going to take RJ Harvey, but on my turn back, I'm wondering, should I take a wide receiver or should I go ahead and grab Bo Nix?
What is your team so far? It's an Eliminator. And what round are you in, you said?
This is the 3rd round. I got Nico Collins and Bucky Irvin.
You're in the 3rd round. Why would you take Harvey in the Eliminator on Underdog in the 3rd round?
Yes, sir.
Why would you take Harvey in the
20 teams?
Oh, 20.
It's 20 teams.
20 team Eliminator?
Yeah, it was 16 last year. It's 20 now,
That's
man. They flying off the board.
I was saying on Underdog. You said, yeah, it's not on Underdog. Okay.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah,
it's on Sleeper.
I was like, okay. All right. So it's your team is, read it off again.
Nico Collins and Bucky Irvin.
Nico, Bucky. Okay, and then you're thinking of Harvey, which in that size of a league, that's crazy. Yeah, Harvey would be fantastic. What are the quarterback options? Hold on, let me merge this call. Caller, just mute yourself real quick if you could. What are the quarterback options if you pass on Bo Nix here?
Kyler Murray, Jared Goff.
You think you get Kyler Murray the next round if you go Harvey here? I'm not trying to argue.
Say it again, man.
You think you're going to get, and you might, I'm not arguing with you, I'm just asking. You could get Kyler Murray in this format, you believe, based on your league mates and everything, all that you know. You think you could get Kyler Murray the next round?
I'm trying to go Bo Nix the next round. I'm saying that those are the other quarterbacks behind Bo Nix. It starts with Kyler Murray.
Yeah, I'm fine with this Nix call if you do this, but do you think you could get Kyler the next round? or you think it's got to be Nix or Kyler here?
Yeah.
You know what?
I definitely think I could get him in the 5th round.
Okay, you know what I'd be tempted to do in this 20-man league? I would be very careful. Okay, you got to be very careful not to get screwed at quarterback. But I kind of feel like going Penix Jr. a lot later, or Cam Ward.
You read my mind, bro.
And then you get just an extra piece here in a very volatile round. Like, what if you could get Travis Hunter or Rashee Rice, or I don't know where Rice is going in this league, but like this would be unbelievable in the 20-man league if you could get Penix or Cam Ward. I just wouldn't want to push it too much. 20-man league, if there's a QB run without you, you're done. You know, so I don't know.
Yeah, definitely.
If you know your league, test it out. You know, push it to the max. But I'm completely fine with you going Harvey then QB here if you believe that that's going to be required. I just know Cam Ward can go so late, and Penix Jr. as well, that I wonder how far you could push it. You just got to be very careful. Be very careful. Travis says Drake May. Drake May would be great too. I love Bo Nix.
One more thing,
but give me in this type of league, if you get quarterback play that can rival other people's and they weren't expecting you to do that, you have that extra player, and that's how you can close that or extend that gap between everybody else in a 20-man league. You get lucky at QB in a 20-man league, that's where you could literally make it a dunzo situation for everybody.
Definitely. One last thing, I'm on the Underdog app on my phone, and when I hit that link, I guess I don't know how to do it. Find that draft that you be doing there.
Well, we're not doing it. So what we do is if you click the Underdog link that I dropped and you download it, then once it's all set up and you've signed up under the code Smitty, it'll give you that extra deposit. If you got the app already and you're good to go, just wait. And when we go live, I'll tell you what draft to go into. So we'll basically say, click on the weekly winners, and then you click on it, and then we hit the green button together. That's all we do. I'm not sending an actual link to the draft.
Got you, bro. Man, appreciate you as always, homie. Keep rocking.
All right, appreciate you. Later. 941, you're live. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Smitty, it's Zach. I'm over here in Michigan. I got a quick question for you. So I know you like to hype up a lot of these rookies. And, I mean, I agree with you on a lot of them, but I'm just curious as to which rookies in the wide receiver and the running back position would you not mind starting week one? Obviously, Genty, I understand. Put him aside. But, like, hypothetically speaking, you have your number one running back already picked. Say Bucky is your running back one, and you're going to start him. What would be your running back two that would be a rookie? Like would you start any running back rookies besides Genty week one?
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends on what I've got. I think Hendy, Harvey, Hampton are all in consideration. Is there a chance that we get to week one and we're hearing something weird about one or two of those spots that makes us a little bit more apprehensive for week one? Sure. But right now, Hendy looks phenomenal. In fact, my next live stream might be on Hendy. Hendy's been catching everything. He runs wheel routes. He runs wide receiver routes. He's out there as a wide receiver. Drake May trusts him. He's the best pass pro runner in the class, and obviously on the team. So they got him there for pass protection. Hendy's locked into an X number of targets or touches, you could say. I wouldn't focus on like who's starting the game on series one or whatever. Harvey popped off a 40-plus yard run yesterday, and his coach is enamored with him. He's going to share work with JK to begin the season. There's no doubt about that, but that doesn't scare me off from him being in a flex spot. I think it just comes down to your what do you have? Like even Travis Hunter, what is the alternative for week one that you have? That's all you can really look at.
So the hypothetical I'm giving you is like, say you got Bucky, you're starting him for sure. Okay, just let's say you're going to start Bucky, but you need another running back to start that week. Would you start any rookies along with Bucky that week?
I'm giving you my answer.
You know,
my answer is
week one
what
going
my
forward.
answer is
So
what
you said Hindy,
my answer is it depends on what you have. I can't just tell you yes. We're doing like what is your alternative? The answer is I'm not apprehensive, to use the word of the day. I'm not apprehensive about starting Hendy, Harvey, Hunter, especially Igbuka, Tet McMillan. Maybe Kyle Williams, we'll see. But we are a lot of time between now and week 1. We have over a month still before we have to make this determination with a lot of these guys. But I can't answer any of these questions unless you tell me what the alternative is. I can't. I mean, I love.
So I guess I don't know. Explain to me real quick. What do you mean by like what the alternative would be? Like on a team? Like
what is you're asking?
Like, would you stay?
You're asking me what running backs would I start? It depends on what the alternative is. If you tell me, hey Smitty, I can start a player like DK Metcalf instead of going with Harvey, then we got to make a decision. But if you tell me, hey, I've got these two players, and you're saying, should I start Hendy or Harvey this week? In week 1, I need to know who we're talking about, who we're pitting them against. Week 1 is different than the entire season with some of these rookies, but I need to know the alternative.
Okay, would you start Tatorian McMillan over Stephon Diggs week 1?
I would start Tet McMillan.
Okay, and what about Debo over Tet McMillan?
Debo. Not saying I don't like Tet McMillan still, but just that's going to be my answer on that one.
Okay. Because the reason why I'm asking is because when I go to do my draft, I keep hearing about all these rookies that are going to be great, and I'm wondering when they're going to be great. Are they going to be
case
great
by case
from day one coming out the gate?
It's case by case. It's not. You're looking for blanket statements in cookie cutter, like out of the box, like. Fantasy football 101 for dummies like type of content. If you're really wanting a blanket statement on start rookies, don't start rookies, and also don't have a scared Scotty mentality of hey, I've got Hendy, I'm worried about him getting more and more work as the season progresses, or Hampton. What if Najee comes back? We'll know a lot of that walking into week 1, but if you're drafting today, I'm not worried about Hampton getting less work in week 1 and more work in week 4, 5, 6. Not to mention Hampton situation is looking like it's a freaking wide open, touch. He's going to get all the touches that he wants. But
I've been listening to all that with you. But go ahead.
You just can't. There's no way to answer this 1 month out for everybody. There's no way to answer this 1 month out for even one of the players. But I do know and feel confident in if you're drafting smartly, you'll be able to protect yourself if in case something doesn't look as good as you thought it was a month earlier, like Igbuka. Igbuka looks like a lock to play in week 1 for anybody's fantasy team. He's like a wide receiver 3 is what you're going to draft Igbuka as. But then, he becomes a 2 very quickly, if not coming out of week 1. So you just, bro, everything's case by case. You're on the clock. I think the more important question for you to answer in your mind, you're on the clock. There's this player or this rookie, and the rookie comes with a little bit of risk that he could be slow rolled out or be, shot out of a cannon. And you just got to decide between those two picks whether you're willing to take a little bit of risk and you feel good about it or not. I don't think you having this answer on the sum total of rookies or what to do. You can't have that. You can't look at it like that. It feels very cookie cutter. It's going to be case by case.
All right. So if you're talking like a Tatori McMillan, and then say the next, you have options. You have
who's Tatori McMillan?
Then it goes to like
call him Tet.
Tatori McMillan. What do you mean?
Tetaroa. Tetaroa.
Okay.
Tetaroa.
Okay. So
not Tory.
Okay.
Tatorian. He's not a Viking.
Ted.
All right, go ahead. Call him Tet.
So you're on the clock. You got him. You got Devontae Smith. You got Jameson Williams. You got Xavier Worthy. you got Zay Flowers, you got all these options. Jalen Waddle. Are you picking? And you already got AJ Brown or Drake London. Are you gonna go? Are you gonna grab Tet, or are you gonna get one of the more established players?
I mean, bro, it's for me. It's pretty simple. Like, I do this every single night. I am not drafting Tet McMillan personally over players that I have ranked higher than Tet McMillan, and Tet McMillan is a 5th round player for me. I don't waver. It's just, it is his rankings, his ranking. I'm not considering any of the. You're looking at this thing from a weird lens. Is Tet McMillan, with everything you know about him, with all the risk encompassed, everything, a better pick than this guy or this guy? So when you say Devontae Smith, it's a very close call for me, to be honest. But it doesn't. It's not something where I'm like, oh my God, I'm so worried about what if he doesn't get run? What if he does get run? It's you take someone like Worthy. I'm taking Worthy over Tet McMillan all day long. Someone like Rice, I'm taking Rice over Tet McMillan all day long. Tet McMillan to me is a 5th round value. I think when people draft him at the 3-4 turn, it's asinine. And he's not always going there. It seems like his ADP's dropped back down. I take Jamison Williams over Tet McMillan without a hesitation. And it doesn't matter if Tet's getting unveiled, but I do believe that at the end of the day, JMO's way more valuable. You know, in the case of Debo's ADP's not nowhere near Tet McMillan's. It's in the 6th, sometimes 7th round. Tet's going, like I said, in an asinine 3rd to 5th round range. I like him in 5. I don't like him in 3. But I draft Debo later, so in a vacuum, I like Debo more. But in strategy, I'm taking a running back like Harvey in 5 instead of Tet McMillan, and then I'm grabbing Debo instead of Tet in the 6th round, a round later. So it's a big chess game. But you need to just back up and rank your players, bro. You're making this way too complicated. You're making this way too complicated because you're trying to look at rookies as a sum total, like, risk that you want to either say yes to or no to. Every player has their own inherent risk. Every player has their own value. Every player has their own upside. And the fact that you're tying it to rookie or not rookie makes no sense. Because even Diggs has the same.
Well, because I seem to be drafting when I'm doing all these like mocks and write-ups and shit. Like, I seem to be drafting a lot of rookies. Like, and that's the problem. Like, should I like stay away from a few rookies and get a few more people you're in the league for years?
You're not hearing me. You're not hearing me. You're still tying this to rookies. Rookies have nothing to do. Let me just merge this call. Sorry, I had to merge that call. Rookies have nothing to. I got another call. Hold on. Hold on a second there, Sonny boy. Mute yourself. Rookie, sophomore, junior, senior. None of it matters, bro. None of it matters. It is irrelevant. You're trying to tie something to this that's completely irrelevant. It's completely irrelevant. It is part of their value and their makeup, their fantasy football makeup. If a rookie is a rookie, then he has a certain amount of risk you just have to factor in. You cannot put a blanket statement on all of this and say, but do I take the rookie? Look at BTJ last year, bro. What does his rookie season have to do with anything value-wise?
Right. No, he went off.
Okay, but now you want to try and define everybody on BTJ. Like, these are separate, compartmentalized situations.
Like BTJ. I mean,
these are
people that have, you know.
All right, bro, you need to back off the way you're looking at this, and you need to say to yourself, these players have a ranking. That's it. Are you going to rank Tet McMillan higher or lower on your rankings because he's a rookie? That's a factor. Boom. Adjust it and move forward. Stop worrying about rookies. There's nothing to do with it. Rookies translate in the NFL. Rookies means nothing. Gentry could be the number 1 overall player this year at the running back position. He could be number 2 or number 3. It doesn't matter. Stop looking at rookies. Rookies does not matter. Just rank your guys. Rank your guys and then draft your guys accordingly. Okay?
Okay.
That's
right.
Yeah. Don't worry about rookies. All right. I'm not mad at you. Call back. If you have another one. All right, bro.
No, I got it. I appreciate you, man. Yep. Thanks.
That was like talking to Gump. All right. Let me go over to Joel, then over to Bruce. Actually, real quickly, Joel, wait one second. Yo, Smitty, want to thank you for the JD5 and Chase Brown takes last year. Won people leagues in a Superflex league this year. How should I attack the first few rounds? Thank you, Stay Golden. Bro, top 5 quarterback, include Mahomes in there. Mahomes falls the furthest, so like if you picked 8 or 9 or 10, you still might get him. And if you don't get Mahomes or anybody above, then I'm drafting Bo Nix if I can in round 2, and I'm taking that highest non-QB in that first round territory. Past that, it's QB, Mahomes, or higher. Especially if you have a top 5 pick, you're sitting pretty golden, just like the name. You'll be golden. And then in round 2, 3, 4, 5, I'm trying to return to 1 QB drafting as long as I can. Penix Jr., Cam Ward. Cam Ward is the league winner. Cam Ward is the Superflex league winner. Penix Jr. as well, but Cam Ward will fall the furthest. And then Milroe and Shadur and Milton, those are all players you need to grab and put on the bench for Superflex. They could literally win leagues. Stay golden with that information. Luke says, I want to trade Neighbors. Would Drake London be okay? It would not, because it would be in theory, and I love Drake London, but in a dynasty setting, you need to get a ton more. In a redraft setting, you still probably need to get more, because if we drafted today, the average draft would have Neighbors significantly higher than Drake London, who goes in round 2. So you need to get more off of the perception of the values alone, because you're leaving meat on the bone, or you're trading for a bone that has less meat on it. And you're trying to eat ribs. You ordered a pack of ribs, bro, and only 3 of the ribs out of the 6 have any meat on them, bro. You got to make sure you're doing the right thing value-wise, cost of entry, fair market value. Elite rookies make the transition to the pro quickly. And that's the thing. I was trying to tell the guy. He was set on just, what if it's a rookie? Do I deduct 3 points? He wanted me to give him an algorithm that you apply to rookies, and you say, he's a rookie, bring him in. All right, let's size him up. -3. You're a rookie. -3. That's not how it works. They're individual players, and they have feelings. Okay? Yes. Quicker. Next tier takes about 1.5 a season. And I would say it's even harder to, the system, all that. It's all, you got to just judge the player in his independent environment, setting, and talent and opportunity. It's all just a complete, ranking. And then you draft off that. There's no way to, this is like when someone says, do you draft cuffs or do you not draft cuffs for your players? What do you want? A Mickey Mouse cookie cutter show, or something a little bit more complex? Because we don't do that. It's case by case. Thoughts on Jordan Watkins with the 49ers? No thoughts. no thoughts. Appreciate your super chat though. Well, I'll talk more about it. Let me get this phone line, and then we'll cook something up on Jordan Watkins, I guess. I'll try. Go ahead, Joel. I'm sorry about the wait.
No, you're good. I'm chilling at the pool. Do we think Zay Flowers' value goes up a little bit? Like, do you like him a little more? And when's the earliest you would take Trevion Henderson? Because I think he's going to be a monster, like you always say.
I'm taking Henderson as early as probably, as early as I need to. But right now, I don't want to say anything higher than the 5th round in a non-best ball, like 6th round, 5th, 6th round. You don't need to take him any higher than that. That's where you go. So you start reaching in the 4th round, and you're just punting value.
Yeah.
But I love Hendy. I think Hendy in hindsight will be worth like a 3rd rounder in hindsight. And I think that if he has like a big run, all it takes is one camp update or his head coach or OC to come out and say he's going to lead the league in, awesomeness. Whatever. It could be anything. It could be he's going to lead the league in, it could be something like elusive. It could be anything. It doesn't even have to be something specific that we're expecting. And his value skyrockets. When Godwin was a 6th to 7th round steal, his breakout year, I did a video on it early in the offseason, and I said Godwin will win you leagues from round 6 and 7. It was fantastic. people were picking up Godwin left and right. And then I don't know if it was the OC or coach who came out and said he's going to catch 100 footballs this year. And I was so pissed because I knew we were right on Godwin. And people cleaned up for like 2-3 months on it. And won leagues off the Godwin call. But Godwin climbed from 6th, 7th round ADP to about the 3rd. And he still exploded from the 3rd because he was like the number 14 overall player during that breakout year. And it just took one statement by a coach. So that same thing can happen to anybody at any moment in time, you know. But Hendy, and then your other question was what? Who? Wasn't Hendy? It was
Zay Flowers.
Oh, bro, likely he's gonna maybe be back for week 1. So I don't know how this affects Zay Flowers long term, if any, but maybe week 1 he has a little bit more attention if likely misses 2 or 3 games. But this is the tight end position. I'm not saying they wouldn't have run him out on the field as a wide receiver at times, but this is the tight end position, which Andrews occupies. So at the end of the day, I don't think it affects Flowers too much, other than maybe in the early part of the year. But likely will be back, and likely is still a potential, I want to say like near a league-winning candidate, just because his ability to be a top 5 tight end from an almost zero cost of entry makes him a potential league winner. I still very much like likely. He's pretty awesome. Young tight end that has lots of upside and plays in an offense where the quarterback doesn't make top 20 wide receivers. He just doesn't. Zay Flowers was, I believe, number 25 last year, and that was the highest that Lamar's ever made a wide receiver rank. And we used to say Lamar doesn't make top 25 wide receivers. We can't say that now. We can say Lamar does not make top 24 wide receivers. But he certainly doesn't make top 20. So maybe that changes. I don't know. Anything's possible, but he doesn't do that. So I'm not banking on Flowers, especially if Flowers goes early. Sometimes we've seen him go in the 5th round. Hell no. I want Debo in round 6 before I draft Flowers. And that allows me to go Harvey, Hendy. There's your boy Hendy in 5 and Debo 6.
All right, thank
All right, my boy. We'll see you later. Enjoy the beach or the pool or wherever you're at. Bruce, you're live. Then over to the 443. But Bruce, you're first. Go ahead, Bruce.
Hey, Smitty. I was trying to debate this with my dad, so you're the expert.
Thank you.
He's in a Superflex and a Superflex keeper. He can keep Nix in the 13th, Penix as his last pick, or JJ in the 2nd round. He wants to keep JJ in the 2nd. I'm like, no, you want to keep one of the quarterbacks. And he's
in
like,
a Superflex.
No, he's like,
yeah. Well, let's see. JJ in the 2nd. Let's talk about this for a second. JJ in the 2nd or Penix where?
The last round.
Round 8.
This is the 18th.
Okay, and then what's the other quarterback?
Bo Nix.
And what round?
In the 13th.
Okay, so Nix
13th.
Yeah, so Nix in the 13th is probably the Superflex keep here. JJ's got the hamstring, so we're a little bit worried about that anyway. And Bo Nix in the 13, when you think about this, like, again, the same example, tell your dad this, or make sure your dad watches once the show ends. You can find it at 53 minutes in, okay? Again, he needs to look at it from this perspective, and this will map it out for him very clearly. Let me pull this up. If you're trying to draft a team, let me see if I can wipe this board real quick. By having Bo Nix, and I'm going to be able to put him at the 8th round pick here just to show it because I don't have 13 rounds here. Or what was, 13. So Bo Nix, I'm going to put him in the corner. Having Bo Nix in the 2nd round pick is probably who? Who are you getting in round 2 here, do you think? If there's all these keepers, probably like 4 or 5 players getting ripped from the top 15, maybe 6 players. Not all will necessarily be drafted here. Like Nix, for example, is not getting drafted. Well, he is in a Superflex, but like what players do you think will be available here? Bucky? In a Superflex, would Bucky be?
Bucky.
Okay, so tell your dad you can either have JJ and JJ alone, or you can have Bo Nix and Bucky. And Bo Nix in a Superflex startup would go at 2.12, 2.4, 2.3, 2.2. So you're getting a player that you draft ahead of Bucky. You would draft Bo Nix ahead of Bucky in a Superflex. He would go right here. Your dad is getting 2 second-rounders by keeping Bo Nix instead of keeping JJ, who is a first-rounder, but he doesn't have the extra player. It is such a more attractive thing to walk in with Bucky and Bo Nix because you have this second-rounder to use versus writing JJ in and losing your second-rounder. It's the easiest call in the world.
Okay. Yeah, because I tried to tell him, convince him.
Well, show him that.
He listened to you more than me.
Well, show him that.
I was like, keep one of the quarterbacks.
And not,
he just started.
Not to mention with JJ's hamstring, and I'm not saying it's scaring the whole world, but this is Superflex, and there's a chance that Bo Nix and JJ go at the exact same spot in a dynasty startup, or in a, is it a redraft? No, it's a keeper. Right.
Yeah, it's redraft.
In a keeper.
Yeah,
in a keeper, because keeper's a little different. Keeper, Superflex draft. JJ might go like at the end of round 1, where Lamb and you get so many quarterbacks in here. So you're talking about JJ and Bo Nix having very similar value in a Superflex startup anyway. And you keeping JJ in this 2 spot is not as valuable as having that second rounder and Bo Nix written in. It's just show him this, he should be fine. All right, what else you got, Bruce?
Okay. No, it was just that, because I was just trying to tell him, I'm like, look, I was like, you want to keep a quarterback. I was like, you have to have 2 quarterbacks. And I think, this is his first time doing, 2 quarterbacks. He wasn't used to
Cam Ward,
I was just trying to get
Cam Ward, Penix Jr., grab Milroe, and also Milton potentially as well, and Shador later. Those are really easy to grab. Like Milroe goes in a Superflex. He's been going in the final rounds. It's crazy. I've been getting Milroe in a Superflex on underdog over and over and over in like round 15, 14. 16 sometimes. It's insane. Shador lasts until like 14, 15, 16. Milton's never drafted in a Superflex. I get him at the end of the draft. I just grab those guys, and I have leagues where I've drafted 1 quarterback, and then I take Milroe, Milton, and Shador, and I say, do your worst. And that's kind of a fun approach.
I do have one more, though, on this Chase Brown. What do you think this does for do you think him and Hall are still tied neck and neck?
Hall and who?
Chase Brown.
Yeah, for sure. I think that Chase Brown probably feels like if I had to give him a ceiling value, I'd say 6 to 10, where Hall's, well, maybe 5 to 10. That's where his range of outcomes feels, 5 to 10 for running backs, whereas Hall could be 1 to 10. So they overlap, and there's definitely a scenario where Chase Brown's 6 and Hall's 7 at the end of the year, but Hall does have that ceiling, that a little bit more uncapped ceiling of number 1 overall. But I love both of them. The overlap makes them near even. It's just that you're getting a little more risk with Breece Hall though. So the risk is a little higher, but the ceiling range is a little higher. Chase Brown is a higher floor. He feels like he's not going to be outside the top 8 or 9 or 10 running backs. Hall could, but Hall could be number 1. So it's just it's a tough call. One that I like to rotate.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Smitty.
Later, bro. All right. I think I got one more caller here, and then I got to get these super chats out. The caller on the line is the 443. You're live 443. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, Smitty. It's Nick from Baltimore.
What's up, Nick? You're a little muffled.
Are you okay? Am I good?
I know. You sound. What do you have a headset on that you believe is not the problem that always is? People tell you they can't hear you. You keep using the headset or the earpiece that people tell you over and over and over not to use, and then you go, "Hold on, can you hear me now?" No, we can't. We still can't. It's your earpiece. It's still your earpiece. It's still your earpiece. Take it out and let's hear how clear you
All
are.
right, how's this?
Crystal clear.
How's
Yeah,
this?
when are you going to listen to the people
Oh,
that tell you every day that they can't hear you on that thing? All right, go ahead.
You know what happens is that you accidentally leave them in your pocket and you put it in the washing machine. And they still work, but they.
It sounds like it's being washed right now.
Right.
All right, what can I do for you, Nick?
Man, great show by
Thank
the
you.
way. Appreciate you. I wanted to get your thoughts on Mark Andrews. I'm a huge Baltimore Ravens fan. I know that likely is going to be the Thursday, guy moving forward. I posted on the Patreon that he's going to probably get an extension. That's what the rumors are talking about. But Mark Andrews for 2025. What are you thinking about this?
2025 first rounder?
No. Just for his.
Oh, what do I
season
think about?
draft-wise
Okay.
For
I'm not against Andrews having one more good year. He's very touchdown dependent. I think that what ends up happening, if I had to guess how Andrews' season would go, because he is kind of like, I feel like he's an injury-prone player moving forward. I think he'll probably do pretty good, especially if likely does miss a couple weeks. And I think if we're looking at week 1 right here and week 17 right here, week 8 right here, and this is like a top 8 tight end right here at the top of this chart. That's going to be the max value. And then, this is a zero burger. I think that Andrews is going to start off like this. And then I do believe that if he stays healthy, he kind of just gets less effective. Even if he still was a startable, like in the top 12, I could understand that. But I don't think he finishes the year, and this is just my guess, finishes the year as strong as he could start it. And so I think likely he's going to start out as a 0, obviously. And then when he comes back, I don't know. It might be one of those things where people cut him left and right now, even if they walk into week 1 and they're like, they draft him and then they cut him and he's on waivers in a lot of leagues. And then anybody picks him up, cuts him again because he might not do anything in the beginning. But I do believe at some point, and it might be the end of the year, might be midseason, I do believe there's a chance that this happens. They just kind of swap values. Now, at what point? Could that be week 10? Could that be week 8? Could it be week 7? I don't know. I think this definitely sets him back. This definitely makes him a hard player to own in non-best ball. In best ball, I love him as a third tight end option. But in non-best ball, you draft 15 rounds. Hard to hold him. You can't really draft him. In non-best ball, likely doesn't get drafted. If you drafted him and you're holding onto him for 3 or 4 weeks, you're missing out on some sort of value you could hold on your bench, a running back, an extra running back. So he's going to be a guy that we're going to be talking about on waivers. He will be a waiver wire potential league winner at some point. I just don't know when, and nobody does. Andrews will be okay. If you cuff them together, though, that would be the one scenario where I could see an Andrews owner drafting him and then holding him. And then maybe you can IR spot him anyway, and if that's a possibility in your league based on the designation, you could draft likely, IR spot him, and then you'll have an open spot for week 1 waivers or whatever, or pre-week 1 waivers, or right after your draft waivers. So likely should be drafted and IR spotted if you can do that. And some redraft leagues don't have IR spots, some of them do. So make sure you know your league.
Right, yeah. I really think what Lamar talked about, Andrews coming back and, showing out again. I really think that based on all the interviews and what they've been saying about it and just the connection between Andrews and Lamar, I really think that he has a top 5 season coming up.
Well,
he's probably somewhere with Ingram right there. Like they're probably going to be paired up with one another at the end of the year.
Maybe. His yardage has tailed off quite a bit since his prime. His touchdowns are going to always linger around 7 to 8 to 9. I mean, he's had 2 years where he's had double digit, 1 his second year, 1 last year. I think that, he can survive off that. I'm not somebody that's saying that he'll bust. I'm not saying that Andrews is a bad pick. I just think that if you cuff him, you're probably pretty smart, especially if you can IR spot likely, then you can cuff this and you'll be safe. But I don't hate I don't hate Andrews. I don't think it's a bad pick. I draft a lot of Andrews in ball.
Yeah.
But because of this potential,
I think he's more like what you talk about Ridley. You know, it's sort of like that. You know, it's not the right ATP, I guess.
yeah. But here's the thing is, again, if I think there's going to be a crossing of values at some point, a crossing of streams, you got to get both of them though. Okay, so make sure you do that. All right, man.
All right. Hey, you have a
Later,
good day.
All right, let's get these super chats out of the way. By the way, this going back, is this guy still here? ENUAR4? Are you still here, bro? So I didn't really answer your Jordan Watkins question well enough. Let me answer it. I'll just say that, bro, this receiving room in San Francisco is so crowded. I don't know how anybody could, in a dynasty, maybe, you think this could be a Juwan, like Juwan Jennings was somebody that nobody was really drafting for a while anyway, so anything can happen. A player can rise up. If this is your guy in dynasty, so be it. But no one has any business drafting Watkins in a redraft on any level, even a best ball mania, because you might get so many zeros, it's just not worth it. So there's no value here from a non-best or no value in a best ball or even redraft non-best ball perspective. This is a dynasty call maybe, and I don't even really necessarily care about this player when I can go grab a Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt or a Jalen Royals or a Tesla. Tesla is very much going to be available at the end of an 18-round draft. So I'm just not, there's so many other options I could go after, even a Restrepo or a Manor, like one of those guys over Watkins. I know you're probably a Niner fan. I think only a Niner fan would even consider Jordan Watkins on any level. But there's just not a lot there. Are you still there, bro? I want to make sure you heard me give a little bit more elaborate explanation. Justin, appreciate you. $10 hauler. Get some Mars shot, my man.
To Mars.
Appreciate you. 10-man dynasty. Have Puka, Rice, AJ Brown, Reed, Devontae Smith. I'd probably be trading one of these guys like Devontae Smith if I could. I'm trying to get rid of AJ Brown too this year to get just something a little bit more safe for the long term while you can, because his value is still very high, and that might not be the case after one more year. Even if he played well, just one more year in, people are going to run away from him. Bijan, Gibbs, Achane, phenomenal. Kamara, I'd probably trade Kamara on the high. Offer Puka, Achane, Kamara, and a late 26 second rounder for Genty, 2.1, 26 first. That's too much. I love Genty, but Puka and Achane, I don't know, man. That is a lot. I don't think you can do that. I think you're giving up way too much. I think it's way too much. Let me respond to this. Okay. Try to get rid of, if it was AJ Brown and Achane, maybe. And even then, it's like you're giving up a lot. I just think that, giving up first rounders and like Puka for Genty would be what I would be trying to do. Kamara, Puka for Genty, give up a first rounder, so be it. But getting rid of Achane is not necessarily what I want to do. I don't mind giving up Puka for Genty, but that's tough. I would say come back with some other ideas and go back to the drawing board. Puka and Achane is a lot. You guys disagree or agree? Let me know in the chat on that one if you'd rather have Genty, but that sounded like a boatload. I mean, the pick was nice. If you told me that pick was 1.1, maybe we revisit that and I would tell you it's closer, but that's way too much. All right, what are we doing in the chat? Joel, what are you rambling about in the chat right now? that's causing all this chaos? What are you rambling about? I pick at the 4-5 turn. Is that too soon to grab Mahomes? Look, in home leagues, Mahomes goes a lot higher than in best ball. I'm not opposed to 5. I guess it just depends on the board. I just would be very careful not take advantage of the Knicks and Penix Jr. and Dak Prescott values if in fact, like, you're staring at a Travis Hunter and you could get Bo Nix and Travis Hunter instead of Mahomes and miss Travis Hunter. I don't know. I'm 5's a little high if I believe I'm getting Bo Nix later is probably what my answer is at that 6-7 turn. But I'm not opposed to getting Mahomes, but I love Mahomes later because I've just been cleaning up with it all off season. And I guess if you show me any other value, I tend to be like, well, where's the Mahomes 6th round value at least? Where's the 7 or 8 round value like we get on Underdog? 5 is like a whole different world. That's 4-5. That's even like 4th round. I would say go Knicks. I would say Kyler and Penix Jr. with a Hunter at that 5 pick instead of Mahomes. That would be my final answer. So I'm going to say no. 4-5 is like 4 to me. Just like when I say that 1.12 and a rookie pick 1.12, in my mind, that's 2.1. Just to argue the value. A late first rounder is a 2.1 pick to me. That's a 2nd round pick. And so Mahomes at the 4-5 turn is a 4th rounder. That's how I'm going to look at that. That's way too early. And I love Mahomes. So, yeah, Jalen Royal, definitely you could say gets an uptick right now. But how many days is worthy out? You know what I mean? It's definitely good for Royals' development. If it was an extended period of time, it'd be even more impactful. But any amount of time that Brashard Smith and Royals get, catching passes as a 1 right now is really good for their development. That looks like what it will take to get Genty. He doesn't want A.J. Brown. He's wanting Puka. I'll stand down. Yeah, don't just fold and get rid of Puka and Achane, even just because you want to make sure you secure Genty on a team. You just got to walk away. Start another league and draft Genty in that league. And you can make it an auction. That way you're guaranteed to get him. But starting another league is sometimes safer than ruining an existing league. You got to draft him at the, in a startup at the 5 in a redraft. So imagine in a dynasty, you got to take him 1, 2, or 3. It's just the way it is. What is Joel saying? Joel, what are you saying? What are you rambling about that's causing all this chaos in the chat? What on earth is so important? Is this Joel talking about Are you talking about Shedeur Sanders? Are you embarrassing yourself, Joel? Are you embarrassing yourself about crapping on Shedeur? Is that what I'm guessing is going on here? I mean, it's like, what's he rambling on here? Is he embarrassing himself, guys, about Shedeur? That's what I'm picking up on glancing at his messages. I don't have time to read all that nonsense, but if that's what he's doing, let him do it. Who cares? Everybody just ignore him. Just the daily Shedeur hate, because he does. Stop doubling down, Joel. Stop doubling down. Stop doubling down on Shedeur. It's embarrassing. Scared Scott, what is up?
All right. I didn't expect this. I just got on the clock in the draft. And
unexpected and scared.
Jonnu Smith's still there.
And
do I want Arroyo over
yes.
Smith?
If you like upside, Scott, but if you're scared and you want safety, Jonnu might be your man. But I'm gonna yeah, right.
I don't know what you think. Cracks me up, this whole persona. But
this whole persona, this isn't fake. This isn't fiction. This is you, Scott. You are scared.
Yeah.
You're scared of Debo. Can I ask you? Well, he's not guaranteed, but can I ask you something, Scott, about Debo? Because you trashed Debo like obliviously, like you. Oh, listen, hold on. I will let you because I'm going to ask you a question, a qualifying question. But you obliviously tear down Debo in embarrassing, I don't know ball fashion, just like Joel does with Shador. So I would love to know why you keep saying things about Debo's weight when it's been completely proven to be in.
First of all, I just think it's
okay.
funny.
So
But
you're not telling everybody how you really feel.
That man has had one good season in the NFL. That was year 2. It's been 4 years ago. Out of the other 5 of his 6 seasons has been 60 or less receptions. He's only cracked 60 once, and that was 60 on the nose. He hasn't been over 1,000 yards receiving. His separation stats when he's pressed at the line is horrible. He essentially can't separate. All his extra yards that you all blab about, I guarantee a lot of that is him catching the ball 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage and getting a 4-yard.
Part of what he does. That's part of what he does. You look at separation metrics and all this trash. Listen to me.
What's going to happen now when he can't run for
Listen
5
to me.
touchdowns?
He can run for 5 touchdowns. He can run for 5 touchdowns as a wide back. The thing you don't understand is, like, when you catch the ball at the line of scrimmage as a wide back, your data is going to look different. And not to mention that even in 2021, he still managed a way to be number 1 across the board. And he was still number 8 in yards after catch. He was number 8 in yards after contact, number 1 that year after. He was top 10 in all 3 categories again the next year. Even last year, when he was used badly, got injured, he was number 7 in the NFL in broken tackles. He was number 3 in yards after contact. So don't give me that he can't get separation. That is one of the dumbest stats I've ever heard in my life. But he's doing it differently. People just need to stop looking at data all the time and use their eyeballs and look at the context. And you'll see. Okay, but you're also somebody that says he's one hot dog short of being a hot dog vendor, and you say all these things over and over, and you expect us to take your Debo take seriously, but it's littered with joking. And
the man he's not going to play running back. He hasn't had over 60
I think you're confused at what running back is and what wide back is.
And it's 4 years
I think you're confused at what running back is and what wide back is. Because wide back is not under center. Okay, wide back is not behind the quarterback. That's running back. Wide back is out wide back, and you're getting the ball at or behind the line of scrimmage. It's a direct snap, boom, screen stuff. That's what Debo does best. And you think that with a spy on JD5 and a lighter defensive coverage than Debo has ever seen before. No one's spying Brock Purdy. No one's spying Jimmy Garoppolo. This is JD5 is being watched constantly in the defensive team. You're just going to see Debo wide open. You doubt him all you want. This data right here.
I'll take him if I can get him as my 5th receiver.
Okay. All right, Scott.
I just don't see it. I don't know. I don't see it.
I know you don't. That's what I'm trying to show you.
All right.
All right. Later.
Thanks, bro.
Let's see where we're at. I think we're caught up on the super chats, and we will be back. This guy's talking out of his head. If you talk about Scott, I understand. If you're talking about me, then why are you here? Yet here you are consuming the content. This guy's talking out of his head. Then here you are, and we'll see you next show too. We'll see you same time. Actually, not same time, because we go live whenever news breaks, just so I can talk out of my rear end. All right, I'll see you all later. Appreciate you. Thank you for all the super chats. Thank you for being here. Thank you for calling in. And we'll be back when news breaks, and we'll definitely be back at 8 p.m. Eastern. Deuce. Appreciate you all. Oh, and don't forget to get on over to my thefantasyfootballshow.com. That link is in the description, as is the link for the Patreon, which is a 365 24/7 live chat group where we're just chatting like monsters all day long. Hit that link, do that live, join the Patreon movement. Xavier Worthy's your wide receiver from the combine.
He can't catch.
He has hands.
Just fast. Many say he won't make it at the next level.
Enough. Watch me. I must go back and make it right.
Xavier Worthy.
He can't catch. Just fast. He won't make it.
Catch this. Great catch. Wow, nice catch. He's not overrated catching the ball.
He